what is your preferred way of working in twists so that the audience or anybody watching, enjoying your work is surprised so that you're not writing cliche? I'll use the Book of Henry, for example, right? I actually really enjoyed Book of Henry. To me, it was one of the best dramas that I had seen since The Fountain, and The Fountain moved me deeply. So
Thank you.
so spoilers. I mean, Henry dies, right? But that is a twist. I mean, I did not expect it coming. You don't see it coming. You when you look back, okay, you see the buildup, the headaches, the blurred vision, stuff like that, and of course the name of the Book of Henry, but still it's a surprise. And then a surprise of how the mother then becomes the central character after Henry, which is really hard to pull off. How do you develop twists like this?
It's funny that you asked that. For a brief time, I remember I sat down with the head of DreamWorks when I was trying to put this together. And she said, how did you deal with this? Because the Book of Henry is so weird, right? It had a pretty mixed critical reception, as I'm sure you're aware of.
Right, yeah.
I mean, it goes from like a family drama it goes from like a comedy to a family drama to a tragedy to a thriller. It's totally bizarre.
It's tonally unique. And what I have found is that critics don't tolerate films very well that are multitonal, but that doesn't mean that the film is a bad film. It just means that critic doesn't understand how to digest that film. But if you sit back as a writer, if you sit back as somebody that enjoys cinema, I mean, Colin Trevorrow did a great job.
Yeah,
it's a solid film. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was funny. So I was sitting down when I was putting it together, and the head of DreamWorks said, what did you do? Like because I break every rule, right? It's like, again, spoiler alert. So turn it off if people haven't seen this, but I kill a kid. I have voiceover from a character who's dead. I kill the main character in the opening. Like every rule that you could think of, I break. And I said, well, I wrote the rough draft, the first draft 18 years ago when I was 21 years old. And she looked at me and she said, oh, so you didn't know better. You wrote it before you knew better. And it was so smart because it was like, yeah, that's it. And so one of the aims is to avoid, it's such a trick though, because, I hate when people say, I'm not ever going to kind of, I'm not going to sell out. I don't want to do this. And I don't want to be a sell. And it's like, look, people starve to death trying to sell out. It's really hard to sell out. So, I wish you all the best of luck as in your artistic purity to resist it. So I'm not coming from that position when I say that you have to hold on to the aspects of yourself that are unique and the ways that you approach things that is in your voice that might be different and might be special. At the same time, before you break those conventions, it helps if you can now master them is too strong a word in the arts because we never really master anything, but it helps enormously to be the more familiar I am with conventions,
right,
the easier I find to say, right. And here's where everybody everybody will anticipate we're taking a left turn and I'm going to take a right turn.
Yeah.
Here's where this is going to go this way and we're going to go the other way. And it becomes almost like a cadence. And increasingly, I don't plan those. I kind of see them. Okay. I see the way that plots move and stories move. I'll slow down if I'm writing into something that is a boring set of chapters and I'll just realize I need to think about them more.
Okay.
And almost inevitably, I'll figure out a different way through. And part of that too has been, I spent a lot of time on my secondary characters.
Right.
A lot of time. I don't ever want to have like just the sort of the bullet sponge or the guy in the Steven Seagal movie who enters here when Seagal goes in the bar and he goes whoosh and the guy flies away.
Right.
And, look, at times you need bullet sponges. You just do in thrillers. But, I try and take that sort of Tom Stoppard, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead, which is, all of Hamlet for them looks a different way than it does for everybody else.
That's brilliant.
And, the more that you work with talent who approach the roles in ways that are true and authentic and aren't screen grabby and ego-y and, I can't help but notice that every time you have a rewriter suggestion, you wind up with more lines. I'm not talking about that stuff, but I'm talking about when you're engaged. Like Naomi Watts in Book of Henry was just a marvel.
Oh, are you kidding me? Oh my God.
Work with. She was extraordinary. And seeing her sort of the whole world exists with her in the center of that universe. And then guess what? Go do it now for Jacob Tremblay,
Yeah.
right? Go do it now for Maddie Ziegler. Go do it now for, Jaden, all the cast. And so, it really calls upon to do that. And I feel a similar thing with novels. With the novels, I really want to make sure that everyone has their say and that nobody is a straw man.